Ja, hier sind wir. Oh, we are in English today. Women Matters is in English. I was thinking we were in the German group. Women Matters, and we have the title, The Multidimensionality of Our Bodies. Unfortunately, the main people, except of Monia, are not here to talk about that. And so I'm wondering, shall we do that together, or shall we transport it on another date, maybe on January? But anyway, Women Matters. We are two women and we can say something to that. So,
Right. So,
can you begin to tell us a little bit about
yeah,
what it
just
is? And
as you know, I rely on Wilber's definition, and he defines our bodies as gross, subtle, and causal bodies. Well, everybody knows gross body. That's what you can touch and feel, and that aches. And he has exercises for you to remind you how to be in all the three bodies at the same time. Um, Most of us are familiar with the subtle body, which we connect with the emotional body. Uh, Wilber connects it with infinity as well. So you can be, and he gives you exercises uh, touching your navel and then touching the universe, which is maybe far out. But when you are in an emotional trouble, it may help to remind emotion to be, and you do all the exercises with open eyes, meditate, and you use your breath to breathe into the fullness of life. And when you are really in an emotional hazard, this helps. And then you exhale and return to the light. Uh, so when you are in darkness emotionally, it may help to imagine the light above the clouds. Um, you can also see exercises on YouTube, how he breathes, and it's quite touching the way he really, all of a sudden, you see he changes dimensions somehow. Still sitting there in the cross body, but you know his mind may be somewhere else. Of course, the third body is the causal body, and this may not be familiar with everybody. What is a causal body?
yeah, exactly. Hmm.
Um, uh, this is the body that is aware that you are more than your gross body and your subtle body, that you where you are right now, the isness, the openness from which everything arises in you, all your thoughts, all your emotions, all your images, um, they arise in the causal body. Uh, a center of this is also the heart. The exercise is that you bring your arms together in front of your chest, the heart chakra, and you are aware of this and every moment, and you can tell yourself, I am this isness, I am the openness in which all things arise. So you do not identify with your emotions or your thoughts, you identify with what causes them or what enables them. Maybe I should rather say that this way. And in this exercise, you release whatever there is into infinity, which gives you a lot of space, in my opinion, um, because when you're really crowded in your emotions or your body. And when you open up to infinity, things sort of get a new perspective. So this is about the three bodies, and it's always a level of complexity. So the more you leave your gross body and get into your subtle body or your causal body, your perspectives are more complex. I've never talked about it this way, so it's the first time that I try to make sense of it for myself. But yeah, that's what works for me
Okay,
and
so
maybe for
can
many
I
other people.
ask? We know about the aura of a body, no? That we have the body, and then some people can see the aura. Has that to do with it or not?
I wouldn't say so. Wait a minute, I lost the picture. Here you are. So, um,
Because
well, you can take photographs of the aura, actually, as far as I know, Killian photographs. But I don't think that this really relates to it because it's a mental and a feeling state when you get where you're getting to. So, have you ever seen the aura of people, Heidi?
I have tried to see aura of things, and I sort of get a white surrounding when I unfocus my sight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I know of people who say they can see it and even in colors.
Mm-hmm.
I'm asking because I read in the Wilber text we have on the website, the introduction, that he says it's the energy body, the subtle body. And
Mm-hmm.
the auras are sort of energy bodies, aren't they? As far as I know.
Your sound is interrupted. I
Yeah,
hear
I
you.
have unfortunately a bad internet connection. So, um,
So let's return to what you suggested that the aura is in the subtle body, or is
maybe
something the
this.
subtle body can show.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. This is I have no. I don't see uh, sense the mood people are in, but I don't know what organ I use for that. What how I see it. It's
Mm-hmm.
maybe it's even more than seeing. It's more experiencing it. So sometimes it's really hard when you go in the sub sit there and then you all of a sudden and I learned how to block it out. So because having a subway full of miserable people is just too much. it's I and what does it help to see the aura? I mean, what does it tell you, or what could it tell you? I never really investigated into aura, but
People say that when there are different colors of auras, then there you can see the quality of the person somehow. You know, the anger. I don't know the colors. I'm not an expert in that, but and also the aura can be distorted. It can be restricted, sort of. You know,
mm-hmm,
and then
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
uh, or it
mm-hmm.
can be wider, and it can also, for instance, with people who know each other well, they can come together, and the aura can combine the two people,
Yeah,
things
yeah.
like that. You
Well,
know?
yeah. Well, this is there are many other explanations what combines when two people come together and they resonate to each other. I was just uh, whether you are the way the colors you dress in. Maybe this is also a reflection of your aura. So when you are, because some dress in black and gray
Mhm.
in the winter, and the when you dress influence others. technical problems, or are you all right?
Yeah, no, that is the internet is interrupting. So
Now you don't move. Ah, yeah, yeah. Let's test. Need to test. Next, we more.
dear, the Zoom is here. It is. It's really strange. This is also for in case somebody is watching. This is an attempt to master the technology, bringing the Zoom into via OBS into YouTube. And I'm realizing that when I don't have the gallery view, then it's only seeing you and not me. So I'm trying now to put us onto gallery view and also have us both on the YouTube window, which doesn't seem to be so easy. Why don't I get that?
Take your time.
Yeah. No, that's a little bit anyway. A trial session today.
Yeah.
So yeah, you continue to say something because the people see you, but they see me only partly, but it's also enough. I don't.
So what else? What kind? Well, let's start an interesting, because I have been concerned about gender topics,
Mhm.
and I'll show you one of the books. That is my favorite author, Sherry S. Tepper, The Gate to Women's Country.
Uh-huh.
Can you?
Yeah, I see it. What is that?
It's about the difference of male and female approach to things. And as far as the bodies are concerned, I guess there is no gender difference. It's the same for men and for women as well. And when men and women come together in all three bodies, I'm very sorry that Elizabeth isn't here, because I'm sure she can tell us a lot about that as well. Once your spiritual approach goes through all three bodies, the intimacy is different. Of course, you are trained to be aware how your energy flows, vipassana, and how the kundalini rises through the chakras. And this is, I guess, a lot of a difference to coming together just in the gross body.
Yesterday I listened to the Buddha at the gas pump. That's you know it. That's the podcast, and there was Stan Groff, and he talked about that about the when you are awakened to this by breath work. I mean, also LSD, but it's still not legal. When
Groff uses holotropic breathing.
Yes.
Which is also a kind of hysterical state, so you really get everything up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he says that this is really awakening the subtle body, and you can feel it. He says it's, and maybe even see it when other people are in it. That they have a different, as far as I remember, they have a different expression when you are. I mean, when you think that subtle body is the dream state, I mean, yeah, when you are in a dream state, it's definitely different, and probably people who see you in a dream state will see that you are not in the normal state of consciousness, isn't it?
Well, it depends if you are lucid dreaming, and according to Wilbur, I just saw him on YouTube as well on this topic. Once you really activate your causal body, you will start lucid dreaming. So to be aware in your dreams that you're dreaming. And one of the exercises probably is that during the day, in your waking brainwave, you try to ask yourself, am I dreaming? Is this real? And if you do this consistently, you will do it in your dreams as well. And this may help to dream lucidly, so that you are aware that you are dreaming in your dream. And of course, then you have to know what will you do with this state of mind. And yeah, and so it's always good to have some guidelines, uh, ethical guidelines in your waking state that will also guide you in your dream state. You know what I'm hinting at?
No, it's difficult because when you dream, you dream. Okay, when you are lucid dreaming, then you could like a somnambula, you could go up and do some stuff, the things which happen in the dream. You could act them out. So is it that what you need the ethical guidelines for?
Well, what I was trying to get at is that in lucid dreaming, whatever you let arise will happen right away. So there is nothing in between your intention and what happens. And this might be an invitation for things you wouldn't want to do in your waking state. So as far as the consequences of lucid dreaming are concerned, you have to have a certain basis. And yeah, dream yoga is a kind of yoga that keeps rather close to the waking state. People don't lie down, people sit up during the night. So, and it's not, I talked to one guy who really went into that for years and years and years. And then he came and asked if Wilbur could just give him a map so that he will know where he's going. And again and again, to have the integral map is helpful in every respect, in every quadrant, in your interior, in your exterior, in the society, and as an individual. This is I never called Wilbur a guru or my guru, but he is really the only man I know who provides a map for your consciousness, and everybody who is into consciousness business will be happy to find it.
Yeah. So let's still. I have understood Wilbur up to a certain point. I've understood.
Let's what?
I said I have understood Wilbur to a certain point, the levels of consciousness, the quadrants, and so on. But the states of consciousness for me are still a little bit mysterious. I mean, when we talk now about the three bodies, we do have them all the time, don't we? But we are not necessarily aware of them.
Aware of them, yes.
Yeah.
But since you mentioned states, I just listened to one of the pathologies of states, and that's quite also on YouTube. Because your pathology develops without you noticing it, and then it follows you for the rest of your life. So to be aware that your states may put yourself into hazard, so they may overwhelm it. And Wilbur is an ardent meditator, and he really easily from one state into the next, which most people don't that way. And I guess you can influence his brainwaves accordingly. I don't meditate that much, to my shame. Or I just found a book about without going the spiritual way without meditation. I don't quite believe it, but I'm following the once you meditate, first you start out with your breath, watching your breath, and then you go deep. Then it can become hazardous, and this would follow you for the rest of your life. So you have to be very, very aware of your states, of states you are in, and where they might lead you.
There is a Groff said, and I heard it from other people, when you once have been in this, let's say, deeply altered state by LSD or something, then it will change forever your life. LSD or mushrooms or whatever you can use to do that. I haven't this experience, but I have heard it from other people. So I'm wondering about that. How
you can reach these states without mushrooms or LSD. My first experience of cosmic consciousness was in everyday life, and I had done some breath work before and cleared some channels and went over some conditioning, which is for me the most important fact, that you have to really transcend a conditioning that followed you. My conditioning was to be a wife and a mother and monogamous, and yeah. Once you transcend that, all of a sudden everything opens up. It's inside. You open. In my experience, it was like door after door after door opened up, and then I looked back at the earth and I saw that everything there was one consciousness, one living being. And of course, I didn't know what to do with this experience, how to translate it into my life, my everyday life. But at that time, I started reading all the old religious traditional books, and I found some of the experiences there mentioned there. And then I went to another religion, and actually then I started comparative religion, and I found that everything went together in one center. And but of course, substances will alter your experience and the way and your perspectives, definitely your perspectives. And once you experience a very wide perspective, it may stick. Go back into your old habits. And at that time I came from yoga and Tai Chi, and so it's always good to have a basis. And I was rather old already. It was the end of that was around 30s, yeah. So if you start very early,
start 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 what? Start what?
no, if you try to get experiences through substances,
Yeah, okay.
then and you do it at a young age, you probably get confused, terribly confused. That's my opinion. And
Maybe.
the first time I tried a substance under guidance, of course, was in my late 40s. So this is rather. And it was very interesting. I still remember some of the experiences. But as you mentioned, psychedelic, this was just too fast for me. There were so many impressions. So maybe I know some people in the clinical field who do therapy with substances. I'm not sure how this influences your ethics, because your perspective gets very, very wide. And that's no more.
So this would then be experiences in the subtle body, or where are they?
And the causal body as well.
As well, okay.
Yeah. Because you are aware of infinity most of the time.
Yeah.
And there are hardly any limits. So it's,
Yeah, it's difficult to explain that to who has never. I mean, I have experienced it for a short moment too, but it was in a completely different setting and without any exercise, without any. Just came and I didn't know what it was. But um, how to access it again, I have no idea. So.
Have you tried holotropic
Oh
breathing?
yeah, I did once a rebirthing thing, and that
Mm-hmm.
did the whole session with the rebirthing. It was a good experience, but it was not necessarily the infinity thing. It was more the experience of being reborn and coming to this world and nobody there who welcomes you and
Mm-hmm.
being very very sad. So that might be an experience, a remember of the own experience, yeah, but it might not be something infinite, universal, something else.
Well, again, here at this point, I have to remind you and everybody else, whoever hazards to watch this tape, uh, shadow work. Because your shadows always influence what you can feel and see and whatever there is possible for you. So, shadow work, and again, here we go into the subtle body, transforming the essence of emotions through their wisdom aspect, like anger or hate, clearness. And so it's, I also found a book about that, and I didn't know that Wilber went so close with the Tibetan and the Buddhist approach in this respect. It's called, it's by Genjun Rinpoche. I give it to you later on. And it's called in German the große V. How it's called in English, maybe it's great peacock. Because a peacock eats poison and gets beautiful plumage. So you use the poison of negativity and transform it into your wisdom, the wisdom aspect. So that's the second part of shadow work, of Wilber's shadow. And to me, it makes sense. And of course, you have to be very much awake and aware of what you feel and how you feel it. And if you can release it, yeah.
Now you are referring to what? To the subtle state or to the gross state? Because
Subtle. Emotions are in the subtle state.
okay, but I'm now thinking still about dreams. I sort of confuse these things because uh, dream state, I notice that I dream a lot, but it's nothing really horrible. It's always, often it fades away, but it's some confusion there and stuff, but it's not something which I feel that needs further digging deep into it, which I did already about 15 years ago, dream
The
work.
level of your louder and softer, and changes a lot. Can you adjust that?
No, that it's the internet. It's
Oh.
the internet. After the what we are doing, I have to call again the
Mm-hmm.
support and say that's not. It's just not workable when they give me this. I get the notice that it's unstable and sometimes it just fades away. So and I notice it.
But it's strange because I talked to some woman who was just perfect.
Yeah, on your side
In
maybe.
Germany, actually.
Yeah, in your side, it's my internet provider here, who doesn't
So
give.
it's yours.
Yeah,
Ah,
yeah,
okay.
it's my internet. Yeah, it says everywhere it's bad. So it's not really good to want to do these things when the internet is not working well. So yeah,
Well, that's always, it's part of the game. And I know I have been trying to wrestle down the internet several times, and yeah, it's just a question of time. We'll
yeah.
get to it.
Yeah, the thing is, when I had a new company which has started out 2 years ago, before I had bad internet also, and then I had the new one, it was perfect, and now they have so many clients, and now it's going bad again, you know. So, uh, yeah, the taxing, it's good that we have it, but it's not working as it should, at least if you are not, let's say, a company and can afford to buy a huge,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
buy it. As long as you pay a reasonable amount of money, you have to get what you get. So that's
Yeah.
what we can do. Anyway, it's interesting, and I hope we can repeat this a little bit. I would love to have heard Victoria and Elizabeth about this topic. Um, and
That's okay. That's okay. But as we talked about in between, um, I would really like to get a closer look at Harari's work,
mhm.
21 lectures for the 21st century, and really bring us up to date. Because in Austria, we now have 39 young women murdered since the beginning of this year, which has never happened before. And this is really what's rather close by. Talking about all this is quite, it's a luxury, actually. But facing reality is a necessity almost now.
Yes, so you mean the women have been murdered because of what?
Cultural
Hmm.
differences. So, ethnics, well, they just use the knives like we use, I don't know, a lipstick. And it's a certain an ethnic approach to women, misogyny, it's called. So women are just objects. And this is something we women, in my opinion, we have to stand up against. And it's not the Me Too wave, because this is against your own cultural patriarchal background, but this is a different ethnic approach. And
Isn't it also when we talk with Wilbur Map the egocentric state or of people, the
well,
developed?
it's the Darwin's dynamics.
Mhm.
It's dynamics. It's the red, so it's the aggressive, power-driven state.
Yeah. So
And what is needed is the next level, which is
blue.
that in the 50s and 60s. So when you use rules, and you are glad there are some new rules that make living together a little easier, and far away from what, and this is one of the problems, what's called the green level, when everybody has the same value and every ethnic state is of the same value, and that's not true.
Mhm.
And that's what really is causing much of the problem right now. And we have that up to the judicial system, because all these judges have been trained to be very tolerant to whatever happens, and to have deep understanding for the childhood of a criminal. And even when there are criminal acts, they are sort of, yeah, it's not that they didn't mean it, and things like that. Really, it happened just yesterday, days ago, and it's really, my husband is a lawyer and a trained lawyer, and he really is up the wall sometimes. Standing on a bridge and throwing fireworks at cars passing by, and waiting for actually that something bad happens, and then just saying, well, we only threw some snowballs, which, and even if you drive with 100 miles an hour and you get a snowball on your windshield, you sort of, yeah. So everybody has deep understanding for almost now criminal acts, and it doesn't help anything.
No, the problem is that we think in our sort of green understanding, as you said, everybody has the right to express their own culture. And if in their own culture is a rule that you can use a woman like you want and you can kill her when she doesn't perform in the way,
Right.
then that might be their culture. But as long as they live in our culture, that shouldn't be allowed and should be really an outcry should come against that. And even in their countries, in a world which we are living now today, it shouldn't be that way anymore. And I would really, as I said, I think in the email to you, I would really appreciate if the feminists of the Western world would take this as a task to make life of women better in the world, and not shout about because they are not 50% engineers or 50% people in the parliament, women in the parliament. That's not important. Important is really that women everywhere in the world have a right to live and be self-determined and not be the object of whatever men or cultural authorities, you know.
Yeah, that's of course the question of education. So in Austria, 3 women have, rather prominent women, have started a campaign to provide better education for the girls in these countries. But of course, once you are educated, your trouble really starts.
Yeah, education should be also for the men, especially for the men. You know that how their worldview is impossible to be accepted in a world of today. They need to grow. I mean, the women need to have education, yes, for sure. But I mean, the mindset is that mainly of the men, and I have to say often also of the mothers who are fundamentalistic, you know.
Well, they had, who told me that, circumcision, and it was shown to the men, to young men, how it is done, and they almost faked it. But the mothers support circumcision of their daughters because they had it too. They were circumcised, and this is such an intrusion into the body, and here we are in the gross body of a girl. Yeah.
It's a mutilation. It's a yeah, and that's what we need to do: raise consciousness about that, and not about Harry Weinstein. Yeah, okay, that's not good, but that's not really important, you know. Because when you are an actor and want to have a good role, and we knew it all the time that in show business, if you want to have a role, you need to, you know, and you people. I don't think that any of these girls who are complaining now didn't have their part in it, didn't try to seek out these people to get their attention. And so, you know, yeah.
I only know from the book of Senta Berger, who went to Hollywood, and when she was sort of requested to lie down, she left.
Yeah, that's the choice.
She never made it to be a Hollywood star, but yeah.
That's the choice. What I always said from the beginning, you always have a choice unless you live in countries where you have the knife here. Then you don't have a choice. But in these situations, you always have a choice. And if you really want to be a Hollywood star, you know that it's... And for men who are gay and happen to have a cinema, how do you call it, a film director who is gay, it's the same thing, you know. So that's what it is. And if you accept it, then you cannot blame only them. I mean, you can blame them, but please, and this is what you said, shadow work.
What they're trying is rather to blame the system of how you can become a star is just by either... If you look at it, how many of the main characters of movies marry later on the director? But there's always an affair in front before that.
Yeah, and on the other hand, it's also normal. When you work together, you might fall in love. Now, when they try to make laws that on the workplace you cannot have personal relationships, that's absurd on the other way around, you know. So we should come into the idea that we are adult human beings and able to stand up for ourselves, and if we are not, we need to have a training. There are enough people, coaches and psychologists, who can help you if you feel that you cannot stand it, no. So at least in our countries, you know, I don't think there is anybody.
Talking about the West.
The West, yes. In our countries, there is no way to complain. How can you say? No necessity to complain. And also, you don't have a right to complain unless you complain also about yourself, you know, when you see all sides. And
As I understood it, that many of these women try to attack the system. Like we have in our skiing instruction teams, the young girls there. So, and that's not necessary. I mean, you just go ahead in your career by being convenient for the men. No.
it depends also. It depends of many things. There's enough people who have a certain level of celebrity, and they have never done that. You know, it is also depends on you, on also on the quality what you are offering. But it's not only that. You know, so yeah, the system, but how do you want to change the system if you don't change your attitude? That's what I'm saying, you know.
Yeah, you have to change your attitude. And these women finally talk about it.
That's good.
Change of attitude,
That's
never talked about it.
That's good. That we talk about it, it's super good. But I was only shocked by the way how little self-responsibility and insight was there.
You mustn't forget that the women, or at that time the girls, were rather young, and the men were charismatic, and they had influence and they had power. And the eroticism of power is always a great lure to women.
Yeah, it is. It is, and that's our thing, and not theirs. I mean, we are susceptible for them for that, and they are exploiting it. And it has also to do that girls often have a lack of fathers, and now in the families, when they are growing up only with the mother, that will be even worse. And so in older age they try to find a father, you know.
Right.
And then a father figure, yeah. And so that will be even sort of worse, because
I was just thinking about a very famous Italian actress, Sophia Loren, and she was married to this small, or the Onassis marriages.
Sophie, she was married to Onassis too?
No, but Onassis as well. She was just a small, I wouldn't touch him at all, but he was really, I mean, the colors. She was one of the greatest singers, and she was so dependent on him.
So we come back to what you said at the beginning. It's shadow work. We women have to figure out how to overcome these impediments. And I see it in myself too. I still have many things which I have really big problems to overcome. You know, now I'm in this situation where I don't really know what to do when I'm now alone again. And many things I say, oh no, I cannot do that, and this, oh no, you know. So the confidence, for instance, to really now in my age build a business or something, no, it's just not there. And I noticed that it was the whole life that I always thought, oh, that's not, you know, it's not good enough. That's not things like that. And also I know that, and I have worked on all these things, but it's still not, you know, I doubt that you can really change it 100%. I'm aware of it, but where do I get the impulse to really trust and take the risk and do it and even know what to do, you know?
It's not that you change. It's that you learn to live with it.
Yeah.
The minute you say, I'm not good enough to do that, and there is also the golden shadow, well, maybe you are, and maybe there's something else you are really qualified for.
Oh yeah, I know that because of the I'm not good enough belief, I learned a lot of stuff and I'm good in very many things. But lurking behind is, I sometimes I envy people who just go and do and they have no doubt about what they are doing, in our
Mostly they are men, right?
yeah, but also some women now are like Dampfwalze, yeah, going ahead. Also, I'm not sure if it is a sort of a reaction, anti-reaction, because I was a while in my life too, throwing everything upside down and going like, and not being connected with myself. I don't know how far that is, and I'm sure some women have the ability. You know what is strange with this, our chancellor and now the new, in Germany, the new leader of the CDU party. They are both women and they are both from ex-East Germany. So that seems to have been a difference in education, so that these women have less of these sort of holding back things, which we still, many of us have.
But since you mentioned not good enough, you are still mourning for Mark.
Yeah, that's for sure. But
and you have to leave that, give that enough room. It's just
that's for sure. But I mean, when I see through all my life, I have started many things, but almost except the singing, the teaching, which was sort of also auto organized. It was not somewhere in an institution where I would have had a position or something. All the other things, I never took them to a state where there was recognition, where I could say, oh, now I have reached something. It's always being good and doing it, but not getting, probably not asking for recognition. This I noticed, also.
yeah. Well, if you really do, you think you are a team worker in an institution?
I could be a team worker, not probably in an institution,
Right,
but
and you need for this to be on the top. You need the basis.
yeah.
So you are just a loner, as far as I see you.
Yes.
And yeah.
But I don't feel as a loner being able to do everything. I mean, already that I learned all this technology that is actually not what I thought I was born to. But, and I still struggle with it, as you can see. And I would really love to have a group of people, maybe 3, 4, and create something really together, something which we say in German has Hand und Fuß, something which is go somewhere and not just chatting and not just, do a little bit this and a little bit this, but have a goal.
For this we need a structure, and as
Yeah.
far as we have a discussion on Thursday, so maybe we could also talk about this.
On Thursday is what?
On Thursday we talk about the German group.
You mean
I wrote it down. Thursday the 20th, right?
ours with the Wisdom Factory is on Friday.
No. The Wisdom Factory. Talking among us. I'll check it again. But,
Yeah.
as far as I remember, it's on Thursday that we talk about the structures of the group.
Okay. So
Is this all right?
Yeah,
Is this correct?
I don't remember anything like this, but we are still streaming, so I think when we want to talk about organization, we should bring
Okay.
this to an end. Anyway, we women have still to learn a lot, and protesting is one thing, working is another thing, and I think we need more activities to come on, not only protesting and blaming, but we have to develop ourselves, develop our males, our also the children. I don't have children, but I think it depends very much on us, on the women, how the next generation will deal with these questions and do.
Well, it's also the media. We had a group yesterday, 2 days ago, and those with small children, it's amazing what the children get from the web. Soft pornos for children, geared for children. It's not really offensive, but it's sort of inviting, and so they really have they keep it from the parents. They talk about it, because how can you restrict the children? Because right away you do them something, it's just possible that they can't participate. But all these online games where they have to act as a group, as a peer group, and then they are mobbed, it's incredible. So these are all things we never learned in our generation.
The thing is, that is with all games and so on, when there can be good ones and which teach something, and there can be the others. So that is a big chance to use these forms which children like and teach them something valid. But I think coming back to let's say to values, to the levels of development also, I think that's the main thing. We don't have common values, and that makes the thing so difficult. We don't. I think many people are not at all clear about ethics and what their values are, and so we let it go and hope the best, and that's probably not the best way of acting in this world at the moment, you know. So, and that makes me at the moment a little bit, let's say, I don't want to say desperate, but presses me down, the inability to somehow influence or somehow do something to open their eyes. I could say I have a tendency as a missionary, you know, to want to have people understand what is going on and what they might be able to do to change it. There was a post of Dennis today about the climate change. It was very interesting.